The week began Saturday with FC Cincinnati getting a point on the road. A tie with Charlotte after coming back from down 2-0. Huge for the orange and blue. Then Sunday, Brandon Vasquez represented the Queen City on the national stage at TQL Stadium with his third goal of the tournament. Wednesday, a big day for Luciano Acosta after being named captain of the MLS All-Star team. He gets a goal in another big road win for the orange and blue. Cincinnati, here we go. Hey, good evening, everyone. He is Tommy G. I'm Caleb No. This is FC Cincinnati Weekly. If you're not paying attention to soccer in Cincinnati this week, you must be hanging out under a rock.
Yeah, you have to be, right? FC Cincinnati, two big results as they continue to lead the Supporters' Shield standings. The men's national team was in town for a thrilling win last Sunday at TQL Stadium, and everything's coming up orange and blue. So if you love the beautiful game, well, then there's a reason you're tuned into our show tonight, and we got a lot for you.
That's right. The formula all season long has been FC Cincinnati scores first. They come out and they end up winning the game by a goal. That's just not been the case recently, but man, they found a way to win Wednesday night. We're going to get into that here. Down in Charlotte this past weekend, the other Queen City, 14th minute, Charlotte goes on top first.
Yeah, they do. Look, Karol Swiderski is a very talented scorer. He had a brace last year when the Orange and Blue played in Charlotte. He had a brace this year when the Orange and Blue played in Charlotte. And what really bothered Pat Noonan in this game was there were just small mistakes. It wasn't as though the team was poor in the first half. There were just a couple times where they were a little bit switched off, made some mistakes, and that set up the opportunities for Charlotte. And that's, I think, what was frustrating. But down 2 goals, Alvaro Barrial gets taken down in the box, and here's the lifeline. El Capitan, Luciano Acosta.
Not just the captain of FC Cincinnati.
I know, captain of the All-Star game now as well, deservedly so. Look at him, smooth as silk, steps to the spot, puts it in the upper 90, and another goal for number 10. That was his 10th of the season. And then you felt, all right, game on, but hold on. Charlotte has other plans. Ooh. No. Roman Celentano maybe caught a little bit there, makes a good and a very important save to keep it 2-1.
One of the hardest saves that you could have as a keeper. When you're one-on-one like that and the striker's got a full head of steam there, but Roman Celentano does what he has to do, steps in front of it, and keeps the game 2-1.
And then, how about Lucho finding his Argentine brother, Alvaro Barrial, inside of the 18. And what can Alvaro not do? I mean, there's so much skill involved in scoring this goal that it's wildly impressive, and those two continue to hook up and make highlight reels.
Well, as I'm watching this live, I'm blown away by the through ball sent through by Lucho, but then Alvaro goes all Ronaldo on him and then goes outside of the foot, shot to the net. Unbelievable.
And look, Caleb, the feeling in the booth, as Jeff Lorenowitz and I were calling the match, was that FC Cincinnati was on the verge of winning the match.
Yeah.
And then Ian Murphy, a second yellow card here. It was deserved in the 75th minute. He is sent off, and that changes the complexion of the game. And it ends in a 2-2 draw. A fair result, but a little bit unfortunate because it really felt like all 3 points were coming.
Sure, but on the flip side, it's like you're down 2-0 on the road in an odd environment. You're in a football stadium, and you're on artificial turf.
Right.
You're without some of your key players, as you have been for a little while now, and you go down 2-0.
Yeah.
Still come out of there with a draw. So there's two ways to look at it. After the game, Pat Noonan mentioned the importance of Alvaro Barrial and how he's becoming a premier player in MLS.
Just him being in the box leads to a moment where, he draws a penalty, So that stuff matters. But then the individual effort on the second goal, we talk all the time about him being, at times more selfish because he's always looking for the cross or the pass in the box. Well, take guys on. You have that ability, and he showed that. And so to have an impact or play a role in both goals on top of just the overall output is a sign of a strong player that's got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, Alvaro's confidence appears to be growing. Like, there's several things we can point to in the last month and a half and say, like, that moment is something that will stand out with us for a long time.
His confidence is growing infinitely. And if you remember, it's kind of a full circle moment being in Charlotte because that's the first time he started at left wing back, a completely odd position for him that he had never played in his career. And did it go really well when he played there in March of 2022? No, the team lost 2-0. But he has solidified the position. He's an all-star. He's going with Lucho and Matt Miazga to D.C., deservedly so. And he has established himself now as one of the best left backs or left wing backs in the league.
Just so skillful, man. Can do so many different things with the ball on his foot. No rest for the weary, and not for FC Cincinnati either. Wednesday, back at it in the Big Apple, taking on the Red Bulls. This game came down to 3 critical moments. The first 2 seemed to be innocuous at first.
Right.
26th minute here, Nick Hagelin defending in the corner of the box. What stuck out to me was the Red Bulls player was even confused when the whistle was
that's the craziest part, right? There are clear situations where there's no handball, and everybody on the other team has their hand in the air calling for a handball. Nobody was calling for a handball, except for the match official, and I think it's one of those situations where whatever the call was on the field, video evidence wasn't going to change it either way. The problem for Nick is it was whistled a handball, and video evidence wasn't going to change it. But then the penalty kick payback in the second half, as Santi Arias, fresh in the match, is taken down by Kyle Duncan. This was not called a penalty. This did go to the monitor. Here's the signal after review for a penalty, and you already knew who was stepping the captain back to the spot.
Yeah, what a big moment in the game right there, and it just seemed so perfect the way it happened with a PK because they went down 1-0 early in the game on that PK. They get one back here, and then what a moment from Obina Wobodo.
Yeah, Obi steps up, slots it past Carlos Coronel. He probably wishes he had done a little bit better on that save because he did get a piece of the ball, but Obi's in the right place at the right time on that ball inside of the box. And what a moment for the Orange and Blue because, let's be honest, a 1-1 draw would have been okay. You would have made it home with a point. You wouldn't have lost a lot in the standings. And instead, FC Cincinnati smash and grab all 3 points for the Orange and Blue. And really just a massive, massive result. I mean, look at the reaction there from Alvaro Barrios.
I thought that was everything.
Yeah, it was jubilation across the pitch.
It's like FC Cincinnati had a sliver, the smallest sliver of hope in that game, and they were like, we're going to take this. I mean, if they don't score on that touch of the ball, it's 1 point. It's a draw.
Yeah, it's right. You're absolutely right. And remember that this 1-1 draw, FC Cincinnati didn't give up a goal from the run of play. So that's important. They came off that penalty kick. We talked about it. A little bit controversial, but man, oh man, they got a result that they needed, and that's what championship teams do. You want to win the Supporters' Shield, you find a way to win a game like that, and they did on a night when they rotated 5 guys in their outfield. So half of their outfield changed because of injuries and other situations, guys out with the national team, and your head coach, Pat Noonan, wasn't there.
Bingo. I was just about to mention that. Yeah, without the head coach there, too. Tomorrow, things get a little more interesting when Nashville, the third-place team in the Eastern Conference, comes into the Fortress to face a sellout crowd at TQL Stadium. Let's take a look at our match preview brought to you by Tri-State GMC Buick. These 2 clubs met back in March, Tommy, and it was a tight game throughout. Luciano Acosta, another flash of brilliance, one of many this season, with a flick onto Barrial. Then Alvaro's shots blocked. Brandon Vasquez, though, gets a rebound in the first goal of the season for him.
Yeah, if you remember, that's a poacher's goal right there for Brandon, and you could see the reaction and feel the release from him because he had been frustrated through the first few weeks without getting a goal. Nashville's not a team that gives up many goals at home, so that was a big win back in March. Both these teams have grown quite a bit since then, but Nashville all of a sudden coming off a 2-0 loss in the midweek on Wednesday night against Philadelphia. Both of their fullbacks, Daniel Lovitz and Shaq Moore, who have started pretty much every single game this year, were sent off in that match. So they're missing both their fullbacks. Anibal Godoy is with the Panamanian national team who defeated the U.S. men's national team. So Godoy stays out. And oh, by the way, Brandon Vasquez and Matt Miazga have made their way back to the Queen City after finishing their duty with the Stars and Stripes. So some reinforcements coming in. We'll see exactly how they can get involved, but this should be a fun one. It is going to be absolutely electric at TQL Stadium.
FC Cincinnati with 48 points in the standings right now. Last season, they finished with 49.
I know.
So they could surpass last year's full season point total with a win. They would match it with a draw.
Right, and they would still have 11 games to go.
Right.
And a multiple game cushion as far as the Supporters' Shield race is concerned going into the Leagues Cup break.
Yeah.
So you have about a third of the season left, and FC Cincinnati's in the driver's seat.
Already in a position that would have been good enough last year to make the playoffs.
Right, with your 2 guys coming back from national team duty. Right. You have some other guys with minor injuries. And, oh, by the way, Aaron Boupendza is here and healthy and getting his fitness. Will he debut tomorrow night? That might be the biggest question. I think that we will see Brandon and Matt dressed. I think Aaron Boupendza is dressed. I think you probably see him at the end of the game.
Okay.
I think 10, 15 minutes.
And Vasquez, Miazga?
They're dressed. What the role is, well, you got to tune in tomorrow night to find out.
All right, we'll see. You can listen to Tommy and his partner, Kevin McCluskey, on the radio, ESPN 1530 during the games, or on iHeartRadio. And don't forget to check out the home broadcast audio available on the Apple TV broadcast. Go into your settings and get the orange and blue perspective from the hometown boys tomorrow night.
Can't wait.
Thank you so much, man.
Should be a fun one.
All right, have fun on the call. The Queen City was on the international stage last week when the Gold Cup came to TQL Stadium, and the local guys came up big for the red, white, and blue. We'll have highlights of that after the break. Welcome back, everyone, to FC Cincinnati Weekly. This past Sunday, the streets of Cincinnati were filled with red, white, and blue. I marched into Washington Park and onto TQL Stadium with the American Outlaws to chants of USA, USA. I couldn't help but think at the time, what a moment for Cincinnati, right? An absolute gorgeous night and a chance to just kind of show off for the soccer world, with all eyes on Cincinnati and this area, with the U.S. men's national team playing a winner-go-home Gold Cup match against nearby Canada right here at TQL Stadium for a ticket to the Gold Cup semifinal. Second half, the crowd chanting, "We want Vasquez," begging to see their FC Cincinnati guys on the field. A little more than 70 minutes in, here you go. You get your wish. Brandon Vasquez, Matt Miazga both subbing on at the same time. Still scoreless, but in the 88th minute, Brandon Vasquez on his home turf, his moment. Puts the U.S. on top 1-0. Unfortunately, it did not hold. A stoppage time goal for Canada, and we go to extra time, where Canada scored to go up 2-1. Desperation mode for the U.S. Matt Miazga sends a header into the box. It pings around, and it hits net. Off who? Don't matter. An own goal, tie game. We go to PKs. Vasquez goes first. He misses his, but keeper Matt Turner makes 2 consecutive saves to start things off. Canada's final chance to keep the game alive here, their 5th PK. Off the crossbar, doink, and the U.S. advanced to the semifinals of the Gold Cup with a win over Canada in PKs. Well, from there it was on to the semifinals and a date with Panama in San Diego Wednesday night. Brandon Vasquez got the start for the U.S. They went down 1-0 in extra time. Then Matt Miazga, he starts this play. It never hit the ground till it was in the back of the net. Jesus Ferreira with a world-class volley for the equalizer in the 105th minute. Eventually, it would go to a penalty kick shootout, and Brandon Vasquez had already subbed out. It came down to Matt Miazga in the 5th round, and what's he do for the U.S. side? He delivers. Matt Miazga goes top right, drills it. After 5 rounds, the teams were even with 4 goals apiece, but the U.S. comes up short in the 6th round, and Panama would advance on penalties. They win in PKs 5-4 after it was tied 1-1 at the end of 120 minutes. Mexico beat Jamaica in the other semifinal later on Wednesday and will face Panama in the final Sunday at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Game time is 7:30. Well, Brandon Vasquez has been playing with the U.S. men's national team. Of course, Brenner is officially gone from the FCC roster, but not to worry. Aaron Boupendza, that guy, is here. The striker from Gabon was most recently playing in the Saudi Pro League. He had 13 goals and 3 assists in just 20 games for his club this season. In his most recent appearance for the club, Boupendza scored all 4 of his team's goals in a 4-1 win. He also plays for the Gabon national team, and he's got 5 goals and 25 caps internationally. Boupendza is a designated player and has signed with FC Cincinnati through the 2025 season with options for the 2 years following that. And he likes to do some of that when he scores. Cannot wait to see that inside TQL Stadium. Welcome to Cincinnati, Aaron Boupendza. FC Cincinnati Weekly will be right back. Hey, FC Cincinnati fans, do you like watching a winner? Of course you do. Well, TQL Stadium is the place to be, and you can catch all the action in 2024 next season with season tickets. Place your deposit for 2024 season tickets right now and secure your place in the Fortress. You'll get tickets to all MLS games and have priority access to other competitions as well, like the U.S. Open Cup and other events at TQL Stadium. Save your spot For all the action, get your deposit in now for 2024 season tickets at fccincinnati.com. Welcome back, everyone, to FC Cincinnati Weekly. Don't forget the MLS All-Star game is next week, and FC Cincinnati has more players on the roster than any other club in MLS. Luciano Acosta, Matt Miazga, and Alvaro Barrial will represent the orange and blue in the game. Acosta, in fact, was named captain of the MLS squad this week. The format, a little unusual compared to other pro All-Star games in America. The team of All-Stars from the MLS will face off against Arsenal of the Premier League across the pond. That'll happen in D.C., but Arsenal comes over from across the pond. They are one of the perennial powerhouses in England, finished second this year to Manchester City in the Premier League table. The game is Wednesday, and you can watch it on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. There's also a skills challenge on Tuesday where the MLS Stars will take on Arsenal in a test of soccer skills and other things like that. Luciano Acosta will participate in that competition. That can also be seen with your MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. And there is the MLS Next All-Star Game, which is a game between young players with MLS clubs and second teams. That'll be Wednesday morning, and 2 FC Cincinnati players will be playing in that or participating in that. Steven Jimenez and Ryder Mills will be taking part in that game. Well, from the All-Stars on the first team through FC Cincinnati 2, all the way down to the academy, FC Cincinnati is truly a football club in every sense. Recently, the club had a signing event for their newest, youngest members.
This was the first of its kind for FC Cincinnati to be hosting a signing event for the academy. So it was an exciting opportunity to introduce the families to the FC Cincinnati family and welcome them into the club.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time for the under-13 induction group when they come in, right? It's the first group that we bring in as academy players. And really just a kind of a special event for them to come in, kind of do their signing activity and get their picture taken and really kind of pump up the start of the season for them in August.
We went down to the cafeteria, gave them a presentation, walked through the expectations of them through the club, the philosophy of the club, a little bit of the history of the academy. The final presentation slide showed that the 7 homegrown players that have gone through the academy, and I've had the privilege of working with them all at some point.
They were able to get a tour of the facility, which is kind of a highlight for them, right? They get to walk through the entire facility, see the locker rooms, the cafeteria, the gym. They get out to the fields and they see all that stuff kind of for the first time for them, that they're really invited in to the FCC kind of family. And then it's an opportunity for them to kind of meet some of the other parents and to hear kind of an overview of what they'll get for the next year. And like I said before, to meet some of the people that'll be working with their children.
Those curtains is a pool table. We've got TVs with the Xbox and all the stuff that the guys use.
Yeah, I mean the facility is unbelievable. I mean MHTC is up there definitely within the league. And when you come from just a regular club and you want to be playing an MLS club, this is obviously a place that we want it to be within this region. One of the things I think that we do is we have a great staff, an unbelievable staff here. And you know, obviously I start with the 13s and through the discovery program, and it's important that for me that these players that come to us are realising that they are more than just a player, and they just come to us, and that's a big part, is the relationships that they have with us. And as those relationships grow, you know, we help them fulfil their dreams. One of the things that's always great is that kids dream better than what adults do, and that, you know, my job as they grow and grow through the academy, I want to make sure that they'll come back and always remember their first year here with us. It was a great year, and I helped those stepping stones be a big one as they step forward.
It's awesome to have the first team kind of cooking like they are. It kind of lifts everybody's spirits, you know, from the second team through the academy, right? It's what we're all kind of shooting for ultimately, and I think you feel the excitement and the buzz throughout the entire organization with the first team doing as well as they are. And we're just looking forward to keeping it going.
Good job, boys. Enjoy your summer.
Well, FC Cincinnati fans, take your passion for your team to the next level with the official FC Cincinnati mobile app. Get instant access to match schedules, purchase tickets, and stay updated with the latest news and enjoy exclusive content right at your fingertips. Don't miss a beat. Download the FC Cincinnati mobile app today, the ultimate FC Cincinnati fan experience, now right at your fingertips. FC Cincinnati Weekly will be right back after this. Hey, welcome back everyone to FC Cincinnati Weekly. You can still get tickets to future MLS games and Leagues Cup group stage matches, which begin next weekend when Sporting Kansas City comes to town Sunday night, July 23rd. And then the following Thursday, the Mexican team, Chivas Guadalajara, comes to the Fortress on July 27th. Get your tickets right now at fccincinnati.com. That's our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Join us here every Friday night, 7:30, for FC Cincinnati Weekly, the most comprehensive coverage of the orange and blue you'll find anywhere out there. For our guy Tommy G and the rest of our FC Cincinnati Weekly crew, have a great night and go FCC.
Concentration, let's go, 9 minutes. Who wants to win more? So we have to show individual we want to win more than them. It's time to get back to our winning ways. Let's go, guys. Let's go.